Welcome back to the No Morning Show, Trinidad and Tobago. It's always a pleasure to have you here with us. And of course, earlier I spoke to two students about the virtual classroom, about being back to the physical schools. And of course, they expressed that they were very happy to be back out to school, even though it took a period of adjustment. So let's welcome to the program at this time the Minister of Education, the Honorable Nyan Gadsby-Dolly, just to find out about how things have started off with the Forms 1 to 3 returning to school on Monday, as well as the Standard 5 students. Good morning to you, Mrs. Gadsby-Dolly.
Good morning, Natalie. Morning to your listeners and your viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's never too late to say Happy New Year, my love.
Thank you very much, and the same to you.
Thank you so much. So talk to us. I know you would have done some touring on Monday for the students who had returned back to school. What was the experience like? What did we see?
Yeah, we actually did some schools on Monday, yesterday, Tuesday, and I'm about to head out to some schools again today. And the students, by and large, have been very happy to be back out. The teachers, happy to see them. Spoke to some parents who are, of course, happy, but in all of the happiness, of course, a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of fear mixed in, because it's been 2 years, and everybody wants to be sure that everyone is safe, and everybody wants to be sure that we're making the right decisions, and we have the circumstances at the school that will allow for the children not to fall ill and so on. And what I've been noticing as well, and I want to give kudos to the principals, the teachers, the schools are well prepared. They are doing their best to follow all of the guidelines so that the students can be safe. I want to also thank the janitorial staff. MTS has been doing human service at our schools. And I want to say that everyone is dealing with COVID. So everyone is dealing with staff on quarantine. Everyone is dealing, with staff who are COVID positive and so on. So it's really a time of serious transition. At all of the schools, we've had the opportunity to interact, Minister Maurice and myself, with some of the students coming out, and to just give them our support. And that's why, we are here to see what's happening at the school, to give the school our support, to give the students, the teachers, and so on. And by and large, the students are out. We have attendance averaging about 70-something% for our lower school and so. And at the Standard 5 level, generally it's even higher than that. Our students are out. Our parents are doing their best to prepare them. They all have their sanitizers, their extra masks, they are distanced. They understand that we are living in a pandemic and they have to keep themselves safe. We can't do that part for them, but they have to do that part for themselves. And so we are, really happy and heartened to see so many of our students out at this time.
Is it the ministry's responsibility, you think, to ensure that there are people on the ground to make sure that the public health measures are maintained? Because at some schools we're hearing that it's MTS staff, in other schools it's teachers, it's security guards. It seems as if there isn't a policy position. It's
everybody's job at this point in time to ensure that they do what they have to do to keep themselves safe and the school safe. The guards have their function at the gates and so on. You would have your guards with the scanners and so. We've delivered the handheld as well as the freestanding scanners to the school, so the guards deal with that. With their health and safety officers, they also assist in that regard. We have teachers, of course, ensuring the classroom that they reiterate the protocols, that they look out for the students. You have schools who have made arrangements where teachers look out during the breaks and ensure that, the students are social distancing and so on. So it's everyone doing their part. And there's clear COVID management guidelines for our schools. Our principals have them. This is not especially in secondary schools. They have been open since February 2021. So it's not new protocols that are out there. They have been accustomed using these protocols. The difference now is that they have the lower school. And as I would have said to some of the upper school students who have been out, you have to also model the behavior that will show the lower students and the lower school students exactly what is expected of them in terms of safe protocols. So everyone has a part to play in keeping our schools safe.
No, it seems as if there's genuine and general support for the reopening of physical schools from the teachers, principals, and those involved parents. But one of the things I keep hearing is that it's difficult to manage the students, during breaks to try to get them to social distance. Is there anything you think can be done about that? Will we look at cutting down the breaks? No, just keep things going?
The guidelines speak to staggered breaks, and I know that some schools are implementing that. And having the students eat in their classrooms during lunchtime too is also an option for a school. So it depends on the school, it depends on the layout of the school, the number of students. All of these things will factor into how a school and a principal actually makes those decisions. But the guidelines speaks to, so there's no whole school assembly. We ask them to stagger the breaks and so on. And as a matter of fact, I can tell you that there are some parents who feel a bit uncomfortable. Some parents have reached out to me saying, they want the child to come outside during the break and to come outside during the lunchtime. And I had to explain to them that this is a transitionary week, especially in the next 2 or 3 weeks, especially for the primary schools. And the teachers have to put stringent measures in place, and they have to ensure that the children are safe. And as they go along, they will find their footing, as the secondary schools mainly have. They will find their footing and find that balance for their school. But we have put into the guidelines these things to ensure that there is a lack of opportunity for congregation as much as possible.
What of the idea of having district nurses so that if we have any kind of incidents, we can get a quick response? Is that something that the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education are still collaborating on?
Well, we do have the Education District Health Unit, and that is a unit that liaises with the Ministry of Health for the Ministry of Education. So all of our COVID-19 protocols, they have designed those in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. They deal directly with the county medical officers to ensure that when there is a case at a school, they can fast-track the testing, the quarantine, and so on. So they are the liaison body, the official liaison body. They've been established since January 2021, and so they assist in that regard. They do drills with principals, assisting them, even when there's not a case at the school, to make sure they understand exactly what is to happen, how they are to communicate that, what information is to be given and to whom. So they are the ones that are our direct liaison. They have been working very hard to assist the schools in their COVID management.
In terms of the other standards, are we going to be seeing them or early childhood go back out anytime soon?
Well, we have said that we are going phase by phase in Trinidad and Tobago. We have been taking a very responsible phased approach. So we have said that we are going to bring out our 1 to 3 now, because those have the opportunity to be vaccinated. And we are bringing out the standard 5 because they have the SDA very soon. And once this all goes well, and we are working very hard to ensure that it does, with everyone on board, then we can bring out our ECCE and our lower school into the primary school students in April. That will be term 3. So we are working towards that, and we're really hoping that we can achieve that milestone.
Considering that we have both children who are vaccinated and unvaccinated back out to school, are we going to be looking to try to vaccinate those between 5 and 11, since WHO has approved vaccines and we know the government is trying to sort some of those? Are we going to try to vaccinate those as well for them to be able to go out to school?
Once the WHO approves a vaccine for the 5 to 11, the country will acquire. Ministry of Health is already poised to do that. And we are still working with the Ministry of Health to present the vaccine as the option for the best layer of safety to our students. And we will be soon looking at ramping up that program, trying our best to get as many children as possible vaccinated, and certainly within the age group we have now. And once the other vaccine becomes available for 5 to 11, the country will acquire those for our children to be best protected.
And how do you deal with the quasi-safe zones, which is supposed to take effect the 17th of February, when we have students who are both vaccinated and unvaccinated?
Once we have clear directives from the AG and we know exactly what is to be enacted at our schools, the Ministry of Education will comply with those guidelines.
And in terms of the physical structures of schools, already hearing people getting complaining. I know that in a previous interview with you, I'd asked if the downtime was being used, to do repairs and stuff. Where are we with that? Are a lot of these schools, where they're supposed to be, or do we still have work to do?
We will always have work to do. We have large schools old school plans. We will always have work to do, so that is ongoing. As I would have explained before, what we try to ensure is that the major issues, sewer, plumbing, electrical, are seen to, because those are the things that can cause a school to close, and we don't want the schools to close. But there are, outside of those critical and fundamental issues, there are issues that always need to be dealt with at a school. And so it's an ongoing process, and there's never a time where you can say, okay, all our schools are ready, because today you might say that, and by 5 minutes after, something, a water pump goes down. Something happens. You get masonry falling from a ceiling because work is happening at the back of the school. So there's always this to happen, and so that is ongoing. We would have reached out to schools, to primary schools especially, just before, and made sure that they had all the reports in, and so we are dealing with them batch by batch as we go along to ensure that our schools are well prepared and in proper condition for students.
Are teachers being asked to teach students whose parents have taken the decision for them to stay home even though physical schools are reopened?
The position of the ministry is that teachers are out, students are asked to be out to school, and the teachers are asked to ensure that the students who are at physical school are taught. I know that there are other arrangements happening internally in the schools, and there's no bar to that happening. However, that is the position of the ministry, that the teachers are out to school and the students should be out to be taught.
So there's no requirement for them to go online to teach those who choose to stay home?
Not from the ministry.
Right. I raised it because I had tutor on the program on Monday, and they were saying that this whole hybrid system, it's not that they wouldn't do it, but they would want to do it if their terms and conditions are addressed. Is this something the ministry would consider? Because they're saying with
that discussion is the CPO. And I'm sure they would have said that. They have to discuss that with the CPO. And of course, the ministry is not opposed to any such discussion. And when we are called, if the CPO calls us to contribute to that discussion, we are poised to do so.
Right. All right. So, Minister, just before we go, I know that there are national consultations going on, national consultation on education. What's the latest update you can give us with that?
So I think today marks the end of our public consultation. Today should be the last town hall meeting. And we have been having good responses. The concept note is up on our ministry's website, so anyone wishing to look at the concept note, which speaks to the areas that we intend to address in the policy for 2022 to 27, they can take a look at that note and they can join that discussion. They can contribute online. They can contribute to our town hall meeting. And we have met with the stakeholders. That would have been the unions, the national boards, and so on in December in phase 1. And so we are at the end of the phase 2 of this consultation. And the next step from here would be to compile all of the recommendations, all of the comments that have been given to us by the public into our draft policy for education for 2022 to 27, which speaks to the transformation of education. Our theme for this consultation is education, the passport to the future, because that's exactly how we look at it. And so we are really looking forward to compiling those documents into our policy document, which we will share in different versions once approved with the public, so everyone will be on board as to where education is heading in these 5 years.
Any idea about when we'll be able to see that? Considering that consultation's closed today.
To see the final policy?
Yeah. Any idea of, how long it's going to take the ministry to be able to compile that?
Oh, well, it will take us a couple of months to get the document together, get it to Cabinet for Cabinet's approval, and then get it out to the public. So I would say, we're looking hopefully before the end of the year to have all of that sorted out, so that in 2022 we will have the policy available for the public to take a look at.
All right, Minister. Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day to you and the rest of your listeners and viewers.
All right, Minister Nyan Gadsby-Dolly there speaking to us. And it seems as if things have generally started off on a positive note with the reopening of schools. So I'm definitely happy to hear that. I know, as she said, especially there's some apprehension, there's some fear, but generally the students, the teachers and all are happy to be back out. So we just hope that maintain the public health regulations, please. Because the reality is that the government can't come and take a shield and put up and say COVID don't reach you. There's a level of responsibility that we all have to take. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Bless those teachers and those students, though.
Definitely.
I can't imagine going back into school and having to be in these little corner of cubicles.
In a pod.
Yeah, these mini pods, because it's not even that big. It's quite the experience, and kudos to them for doing
All right.
so.
We're going to go to a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we twist. We're going to rock us.
No, we're going to take some calls when we come back. Don't be afraid to call us, 622-4010. We take some calls when we come back. So stay tuned. It's in our morning show.